Welcome, Transformer fans. My name is Composite Enerjoe, and today's review will be on the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Voyager class Apeface. And here he is in his Beast mode. Yeah, that's right. We're starting with a Beast mode this time. So in a very surprise turn of events, at least for me anyway, in the entirety of the Siege line, we all of a sudden have a triple changing Titan Master with a Beast mode. So here he is straight out of the 80s, or revamped out of the 80s, is Apeface. And here he is in his Cybertronian Gorilla mode. And it's pretty good. I think for what it is, it's a pretty cool looking Cybertronian Gorilla. I mean, he's no Optimus Primal, that's for sure, but I think he's pretty cool, and at least it's one of those things where it's gorilla-like enough where you can tell that it's supposed to be a gorilla. Or some kind of monster, but this is apparently supposed to be a gorilla, especially since his name is Apeface. So ramblings aside, let me get into articulation. So head is on a pretty angled ball joint. Arms are on ball joints, bend at the elbow as well as the wrist. Back legs can move forward and back, bend at the back knee, or hind legs, I should say. And also you can also pivot, well not pivot, but there's also a hinge at the foot. So you can go up and down on the foot as well as bend at the knee and forward and back on the leg. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, that is one thing I'm a little disappointed about his Beast mode, is that he doesn't have much articulation, which is a bit sad. But I think for what it is, it's not bad. Still looks pretty cool. He also comes with this cannon back here, which you can just pop off. And since I did that, I'm going to put off to the side. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Apeface here is both a Titan Master or Headmaster from G1 and also a triple changer. So I am now going to go into his second alt mode, which is a jet. So to get into his jet mode, first things first, you have to pop off this little guy. And if you unfold them like so, you have his Titan Master, which, whoops, in the instructions, they don't give him a name, and his articulation is this, like all other Titan Master and Prime Masters. You have like small ball joints at the arms, hinge here and here for his legs. So here we have this little guy, which has a very nice painted face. Very impressed that it has paint for something this small. But yeah, this little guy goes unnamed. However, because this is Apeface, I'm assuming that this is supposed to be Spasma, which I'll get into more details later who that is. So I'm going to put him off to the side for a moment. And now we get into his transformation. And warning, this area right here is very finicky with this character. Although, so getting him into his ape mode is kind of a pain. We have to do a little finagling, but you have to basically end it up like this. But yeah, to get into his jet mode is actually a lot easier. So first things first, you fold this. Then you pop this out. This is like this, so you separate this. And fold this piece in. Oh, also apparently, apparently there is a way, I haven't really done it, for you to actually stick this guy back in here. And you can have him be in the cockpit. Although the other way, I prefer the other way, where you put him in the back here. So then you go in here, and this folds in there. And this piece, I think, folds like that. Maybe not sure. And for this part, you have to peg these two pieces into here. No, I think this is not yet. So you peg this into here, like so. Make sure this is all stuck together. And then this pegs into there. Not pegs, but you feed it through there. And come on. A little uneven there. Oh, there it is. There we go. Yeah, he tends to explode a little bit. Oh, next part. Carefully, you have to pull this piece out. It's a little stiff, but you can pull this out. This ends up being the robot mode shield. So this Put that for a second. Then you pop this up to the side for his wings. Then you get Spasma here. Pop this open and you put him in here. And this is where he's supposed to be. Close it up. Wait, I said close it up. Here we go. Make sure it's folded correctly. Bring it down. Really? Come on. How'd you do this before? There we go. There we go. He didn't want to listen, but there you go. You put him in there like so, and then you replace this back in. So you have his wings. Now for the back legs, all you really gotta do is fold this up, so like this, like this. Well, first the arms, fold this in, and then you connect this, you peg this in here. So it's in this black bit. There's like a notch here in which you feed this piece into, which you put this piece into. So fold, fold, go in, like so. For the back legs, you just fold them up, and then there's a part here, there's like a hole here, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a hole here, and a peg, and a white peg there. You have to connect them together. So essentially, you put them up like so, up like so, and here we have, this is how it's supposed to line up as, well, wait, make sure this is lined up properly, like so, and here we have the jet mode. It's very blocky, but it is a jet mode. And then you take his gun, his blaster here, you peg it in there, and boom. He's armed, and he can just sit there. Unfortunately, he doesn't have like any landing gear, although I think this is supposed to be like molded landing gear, but that's about it. Take this off. And I think for a jet mode, it's passable. I guess it's not great. I think this is the weakest of the 3 modes. And yeah, it's okay. You can tell it's supposed to be some kind of jet, but it's nothing too special. I prefer the ape mode, and obviously I definitely prefer robot mode, which, speaking of which, let's get on to that. So now, for this step, you take off this piece and put it off to the side. And you come back in here, lift this up, pull him out, and since we're doing it, let's fold them back up, back into this mode, and shut him off to the side. Close this up, and then what do you do here? First things first, you pop this off, fold that in, and then it stays like that, I believe. It's a lot of separating now. So then you lift this forward, unpeg there, and then you fold this assembly out. This assembly out. How was this? Oh, and then you fold this in. You fold this in, peg it all in, fold out the feet, and here we have one leg. Then you sort of unpeg all of this, retract this out, fold it like so. Make sure this is, you fold this in, click it in, and fold the feet out. And there you have his legs. And for this part, you fold up, and then this will peg into here. Oh, sorry, this here will peg into this port, like so. And then, hold on, back him up a bit. Let me raise this up. He's getting a little tall. And then for this part, not yet, you bring out these arms, like so. Fold out the fist, and like so. Here, he's actually not too finicky. He's more annoying getting into his beast mode because of that little chest area. But robot and jet mode are pretty straightforward. And then for this part, you fold this up, and then you have these pegs into these ports. So, like so, peg it in, peg it in. Then for this part, you come in, peg that in, and then here we have the robot mode. Kind of feels like I can pull that open. Oh, plus if this feels a little too stiff, you can always push this up a bit to sort of line it up a little more, or to like, oh, you're supposed to. Oh, never noticed this. You're actually supposed to pull this up into these pegs here. There we go. So the pegs, push that in. There we go. A little finicky because I never noticed them before. But there, that's the back part. And make sure everything's in place. And yeah, and now the final step is you get this guy who's folded up. You rotate him, and there's Apeface's face. There it is. Then you just plug it in. And obviously because of the way this is designed, it is compatible with other Titan and Prime Masters. So there you go. And then here we have Apeface in his robot mode. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Gotta say, I think this is my favorite of the 3 modes. I'm actually quite impressed by this robot mode. Little too much backpack, but I feel this is, I believe this is as condensed as you could be, even though I feel like they should be able to bend that. But pretty cool. So yeah, onto the articulation. Head is on a ball joint, kind of, which is, you know, Spasma's neck. The arms, ball joints. Swivel in the arm, bend at the elbow, and a little bit of wrist action, which is more for transformation. Legs can go out that far, forward, back, bend at the knee, swivel at the thigh, and a little bit of toe action. A little bit up and down at the toe, and also an ankle pivot. Snaps in place, but it does have an ankle. So you can get some pretty decent poses. No waist, which from my understanding, I think he's like the only Voyager in the line who doesn't have a waist. I mean, I don't have all the Voyagers, so I can't really, you know, say that, but it said so on the wiki. So yeah, he might be the only one with no waist swivel, which is fine. Doesn't bother me. So pretty cool, solid figure. Now for his accessories, we have his blaster, which you can plug in any hand or on his forearm. You can't hold it there, so plug in his arm. Then the shield, which I think in the instructions says to put it here. And I like putting it down here. So now he has his shield and blaster. Pretty cool. So yeah, overall, he's a pretty solid figure. I think he's very cool. The transformation is only finicky when it comes to getting to his ape mode, but other than that, the transformations are actually pretty smooth. The jet mode's kind of meh. The ape mode's pretty cool, and the robot mode's actually really cool. So yeah, overall, he's a nice, good figure. Some ups, some downs, but he's overall pretty good. I think he's worth getting if you like don't have an Apeface figure. Like he's kind of an obscure one that they're bringing back. So yeah, Apeface. So on to some size comparisons. Here we have Ratchet and Cliff Jumper. And now onto the mini history portion of the review. So yeah, who is Apeface? Well, Apeface was a Generation 1 Decepticon who I think appeared, obviously had to appear during the Headmaster run, which was the official continuation of the Transformers show that the US version did not go into. Yeah, for those of you who didn't know, the original Transformers cartoon from the 80s ended at a certain point, but in Japan, the show kept going and it went into the Headmaster stories. That's why a lot of people don't know about these Headmaster things until like much later. Although in this case, they rebranded them as Titan Master, although I still prefer Headmaster as a name. I don't know, Titan Master always felt like really weird for me. But yeah, so Apeface here is a Titan Master. I mean, back in the day, he was a Headmaster. So Apeface was not only a triple change, but also a Headmaster. I think I've said that way too many times. So yeah, his Headmaster, this guy here, Spasma, was a sort of mini Transformer. Were they Transformers? Let's say they are. Who I believe had self-esteem issues, from my understanding. And Spasma wanted to have more power. So when he was bonded to Apeface here as his headmaster, he thought it would be a dream come true. However, Apeface turned out to be a very ruthless and vicious Decepticon warrior who basically was a big bully. So Apeface here ended up being the thing that Spasma hated. And he did not have a choice but to bond with him, and so basically Apeface bullies Spasma. That's from my understanding when I looked into it. So yeah, that's Apeface and his headmaster companion, Spasma. So yeah, that's pretty much Apeface. I didn't find too much, just saying that he was apparently very, very ruthless. I mean, on a scale, I don't know compared to what, but apparently he's supposed to be very ruthless. To the point where I think it's unknown whether his viciousness is either a scare tactic or if he really is that crazy. Who knows? So yeah, this has been my review of the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Voyager class Apeface. This is Composite Enerjoe signing off. Peace out and be safe.